It's fine. أنا كنت لسه بقول there is an internet problem I think all around, so it's fine, no problem خالص. So as I said, the first thing I'll start with is mainly probability. Probability, percentages, and fractions, because the three of them are the same rule. So the probability of finding something, or the percentages of the, let's say, boys in a specific region, or the fraction of the blue cars in a specific region, something like that. So whether we're talking probability or percentages or fractions, the three of them are the same rule. The rule is mainly wanted over the total. اللي أنا عايزه over the total. The only difference ما بين الثلاثة is in the percentage we multiply by 100. And that's it. That's the only difference. So how is this applied? Let's say they'll tell you something like there are 4 red books and 6 black and 7 yellow. What is the probability of selecting a red book? So the probability of selecting a red book. Right away, you'll write the rule, because that's what we do to remember and to organize our thoughts. Just write the rule, and then il wanted red. How many red? 4. Over the total. The total هم كلهم على بعض including the red. So the 4 plus the 6 plus the 7, all of them, which is a total of 17. That's it. That's the probability of selecting red. If I said, what's the red percentage? What's the percentage of the red books? It's still the same thing, 4 over 17. The only difference in the percentage is that I then multiply by 100. So let's say if we do that, 4 divided 17 and multiplied by 100, that's 23.5%. So this means I got it as a percentage now. If I said, what is the fraction of black books? So then the wanted would be the black, اللي هم 6, over the total all together, اللي هم 4 و 6 و 7, a total of 17. Does that make sense, everyone? Is there any problem so far?
No.
Love it. Thank you, Andy. Now, how can this become a bit harder? So let's say we're selecting of, for example, there are 10 children and 6 adults. Now I need to know, or if I told you that I'll select 2 people out of those all together. So 2 people, I'll select 2 out of the children and the adults all together. And the first one, I know for a fact that it came out as an adult. Now, what is the probability that the second one is a child? So again, the idea here is there are 10 children and 6 adults, and then they're going to select 2 people. So the first time they selected someone, it came out as an adult. That's it. It's done. Now they're going to select the other one. Now when they're trying to select the other one, what would be the probability that this other one or the second one is a child rather than an adult? Would someone like to do this with me or help me through this, even if you think you don't know, and especially if you think you don't know? يلا. What do you think?
Wanted اللي هي the probability of a second child هي wanted over the total.
Perfect.
wanted هيبقى the child فهو هتبقى 10 over 16.
10. Good. Now bear with me. Here's the thing. The wanted is 10. That's true. But is the total 16?
Yes, there's 10 kids على 6 adults.
But we've already selected one adult the first time. So بالظبط. so they're reduced now by 1. بدل التوتال ما يبقى الchildren والadults على بعض في منهم adult already نقص ف they're now actually a total of 15. so this is the probability of selecting the second one يطلع child. فهمتي التريك اللي هنا؟ Now everyone else, do you understand what just happened?
Yes.
طيب so let me
مستر ممكن please بس حضرتك
أقولها.
تقولها تاني؟
Yes, of course. Let me be again كده clear about the steps. أنا المفروض if I need to find the probability or the percentage or the fraction of something, it's supposed to be the wanted over the total. Now, the wanted, whatever it is, over the total, which is everything including the wanted. And we gave the probability of red as an example. We said if you need to find the probability of red, then the wanted is the number of red, which is 4, over the total, which is all of them together. Then we discussed another case. El case D, it's like 2 steps. We have right now, let's say 10 children and 6 adults. So we will pick 2 people. We've already selected 1 person and he came out as an adult and he's already out خلاص, of the group. Now they need to know what's the probability of selecting now the second person and he would become a child. So now it's as if أنا نقصت منهم واحد. The adults are no longer 6, they're 5 because I've already taken one of them out. So the new probability or the second one إنه يطلع child, then the wanted is the child which are 10 عادي, the wanted هو but the total has changed. They're no longer 16, they're actually 15 because they're no longer 6 adults, they're actually 5 adults. I took one of them already out. Does that make sense?
Hey, you took her out.
فين صح؟ ما هو again اما انا هختار 2 let's say هيوزعوا ورق او 2 هيلعبوا لعبه. So اول واحد already اخترته طلع adult فخلاص الادلتس دلوقتي قالوا ما بقتش بختار من 6 صح؟
اوكي.
بقى في واحد already خلاص بيلعب already فلما اجي اختار بقى المره اللي بعدها ناس جديده مش هينفع اختاره هو. بالظبط. So now التوتال ما بقاش 16 لا ده بقى 15 عشان في 1 adult already بيلعب بره. فاهمه؟
اوكي بس هي هتجي لي مثلا هي هتجي لي انه في واحد
was already taken out. Now how do you know بالكلمه دي ان the first one is already an adult. So they told me already that the first one that the first time is done. فاهمه؟ ممكن بقى مثلا لو هو بيتكلم عن حاجه ثانيه يقول لك the first one we took او مثلا for some weird reason 3 adults went out to do whatsoever. So the total has been decreased دلوقتي صح؟ بس perfect. طيب that's the first thing that I wanted to discuss اللي هو probability and the percentages and the fractions and this doesn't mean ان احنا we're done with everything regarding them. It means انه the more questions we see we'll keep applying نفس الرول السيمبل البسيط ده and we'll see how this rule will apply to all other questions. كل الفرق بقى ان كل مره هيبقى فيه كل question فيه تريك صغيره جديده حاجه that we need to learn جديده and so on. بس I'm just giving you كده a basic idea about it. What's the next thing that we wanted to explain? It is regarding the percentages. في حاجة في percentages that I wanted to discuss برضو. And it's basically about حاجات زي prices أو مثلا the increase of a price or something like that. So what do I mean by القصة دي? Let's say you went in to buy a jacket that costs right now $70. And then when you went in, you found that there is a sale of 20%. Then how do I calculate how much money am I actually going to pay? Yes, sorry? قولي لي.
ممكن أحمل 20 divided by 100 هتطلع 0.2.
Okay.
أحمل 0.2 times 70
Okay.
وبعدين الإجابة هتطلع times 70 هتطلع 14.
اوكي
بس كده اللي أنا هدفعه.
ده اللي انا هدفعه؟
لا ده اللي انا هدفعه 70.
ايوه
يعني 70 minus 14 يعني هدفع 60.
يس ترو. في حد تاني بيتكلم ايه؟ مين تاني كمان كان بيقول؟ يس قول لي يا حبيبي.
دلوقتي بس بعمل حاجه ثانيه كده كالكوليشن.
ماشي قول لي. طب معلش بس اديني ثانيه واحده، عايز اكتب بس للوجينا. استنى ثانيه واحده. هقول له للوجينا تكتب دي اوكي؟ او هقول للوجينا كتبت. Now Logina, what you did is you calculated the 20 دي. اولا first of all I don't know why بس you decided to divide ال 200 ال 20 by 100 so that you remove the percentage sign صح؟
مستر ينفع أسأل سؤال؟
Yes.
هو أنا لسه داخل دلوقتي
يعني بنشرح كده basic ideas او topics كده بسيطه قوي صغيره because right after we'll start solving a test that could include الحاجات دي. It's not a full test يعني 5 questions وكده، فبس بديكي bit of a hint على حاجات ممكن تيجي فاهمه؟ So اللي انا بشرحه دلوقتي is mainly a type of question اللي بيتكلم على percentages. So I'm giving you a percentages decrease و increase والحاجات دي. So حصل sale on a price or thing something like that. So what we're doing right now is we're saying let's say you went in to buy a jacket. The jacket costs $70 right now, but then you found once you went into the store that there's a 20% sale. So what's the actual amount that you're going to pay? Regina, you said it's 200 over 100 and then 20, sorry, over 100, and then you multiplied that by 70. That got you the 14, صح? And then you have to do 70 minus, صح?
ايوه عشان ده اللي انا ده ال 20% ده اللي انا هنقصه.
صح. So عشان sale 20%, ال 20% is not the actual amount that I'm going to pay. The 20% is the amount that will be deducted. So it's actually 70 minus the 14, which should give you a total of 56. So now that is the price that you're going to pay. And that is true and it is correct. Okay? Thank you, Lulu out. Now, أحمد بتقول لي في طريقة تانية، إيه التانية؟
بقول مثلا انا بعمل على الكالكوليتر اللي انا مثلا عندي هنا بكتب على الكالكوليتر 20% وبعد كده بحط الرقم اللي انا عاوزه اللي هو 7 دلوقتي واقف بدوس سم. تمام ده ولا هقول لي
كده 20% times 70 زي ما أنا كتبتها كده؟
لا مش بالشكل ده.
أمال
بكتب على الكالكوليتر bracket 70.
20% bracket 70 صح؟
حاجة بس بقولش بقى عشان يطلع لي الإجابة يطلع لي كده.
لا ما ده مش صح. بص مبدئيا أنت 20% of 70 يعني 20% من 70 is 20% times 70. So it's correct انك تعمل 20% times the 70 and then just press equal. No need for shift solve, nothing like that. Just on your calculator عادي جدا click او write the number 2 and then 0 and then shift bracket اللي هي the percentage sign and then multiply that by 70. That would give you the 14 right away on your calculator. بعدين برضه هتقوم شايل من ال 70 او again you'll remove from the 70 the 14 so it will still get you the 56. ايه يا حبيبي سوري عشان الانترنت عندك كان بيقطع فانا بيقطع صوتك قول لي كده. فاهمها يعني صح؟ اوكي awesome. يلا كارلا go ahead.
مستر هو طب انا عندي سؤال، هو ليه لما مثلا بعملها على الكالكوليتر العادية اللي هو 70 minus 20% ده حاجة تانية خالص؟
because انت لما ما هو this is بقى one of the mistakes. so دي correct ودي correct بس ايه الميستيك اللي ممكن بتحصل؟ Now one of the very common mistakes is when people do things like this and say that it's 70 minus 20%. The calculator and everyone in the world, there's no such thing as a percentage وخلاص. It has to be percentage out of something. يعني you can't just tell me 70 minus 20% and that's it. 20% of what? 20% of the 70 itself صح؟ 20% من ال 70 صح؟ So you have to write it إنها في bracket هنا كده برضه minus and everything، بس جنب دي حطي ان ال 20% is actually out of يعني times ال 70. انما لما ما بتحطيش انها times ال 70 الكالكوليتر بيفهم ان دي 70 minus 0.2 مش 20% من حاجه. فاهمه الفرق؟
بالظبط، هو طلعها لي 69.8.
exactly. so
عشان كده ما فهمتش.
ما عشان الكالكوليتر ما فهمهاش as a percentage من حاجه، الكالكوليتر فهمها انها percentage as اللي هو 0.2 خلاص. so this is nothing. عشان كده بنقول دايما ال percentage is out of something. out of something يعني times something. does that make sense? okay. so
طب ثانية،
yes.
ينفع بس آخر سؤال؟ طب كالكوليتر المدرسة بيعملها كده، الكالكوليتر اللي على الموبايل ما بيعملهاش كده وبيفهمها ازاي بقى؟
because it's true, the mobile phones, all the calculators in the mobile phones are much more advanced عامة than the calculator scientific. It's like the CPU of the calculator scientific is ربع ايه؟ is nothing compared to your phone. فاهمة؟ most of the applications are up now because it's an application and it's updated and so on. They're doing the things that يعني they're fixing the common mistakes even of people. But that calculator, this scientific one, does exactly what you tell him to do. It's a calculating machine. It's not an app to help you do something. Does that make sense? So عشان كده instructions لازم تبقى given to the calculator detailed. bracket وpower 2 وده times مش عارف كام وده فاهمة؟ كده بقى. طيب one more thing that I wanted to say بقى أنا there's another third way, a correct way. So here's the first way, the second way, and then there's a third way, and it's also a correct way, not a mistake, where it goes like this. If I'm going to lose or remove 20% of the price of something, then what is the actual percentage that I'm going to pay? Percentage, مش amount. Anyone? Again, let me rephrase. أو أقول الquestion بطريقة تانية. If we have something, the price of something. The price of something right now is is what percent? The full price. Yes, the full price of something is 100%, right? So if I went in and I found there's a sale of 20%, then how much is the percent that I'm going to pay? The percent, مش الفلوس. 80.
80?
Exactly. Good. So that's the fastest way to actually do this. If I told you that you're going to get in 20% discount or sale, then this means the 70 needs to be multiplied by 80% right away. That's the amount that I'm going to pay directly. 56%, $56 in one step. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So in another case, if there's a sale of 30%, that means that the amount that I'm going to pay is 70% of whatever the price is. So just do that right away to make things faster. That's one point that I wanted to highlight. Another point is, what if instead of deducting, what if I added? What if there is a tax, if there are taxes, for example? So let's say something costs $200 right now, and there will be an added tax of 30%. How can I calculate that? So if I say
ممكن انا اقول ولا لا؟
لا ليه برضه دي؟ قولي طبعا عادي.
مش برضه يعني قصدي لا يعني لا اقول ولا حتى
لا قولي. Just give me 1 second. It's correct. Okay, it's correct. Bera, is that right? Did I pronounce it right? If that's you actually got it correct. Lojina, go ahead.
ماشي. دلوقتي التاكس 30%، فحامل زي ما انا عملت فوق حامل 30 divided 100.
Now أنا عايز بقى أقول لك على حاجة بسبب الموضوع ده. The only time we actually do 30 divided 100 دي if we need to remove the percentage sign. for one weird reason. يعني if we need to write it as an equation, for example, and we don't want to have the percentage sign there, we'll divide it by 100. But if you're going to calculate it على calculator وبتاع, there's no need to do divided by 100. Put it with the percentage sign على calculator وخلاص. فاهمة؟ يلا. Go ahead. 30% times.
times 200.
Okay, and then whatever comes out, which is 60. This is the tax, but not the price after taxes, صح? So what's the price after taxes? It's the 200 plus the 60, and that would be $260, right? Now I told you a shorter way يا لوجينا في السيل. Can you think of the same or use the same way بس في التاكس في الاديشن؟
يعني مش عارفة.
فاكرة هنا لما كنا عملنا سيل 30% بدل ما كنت احسب 30% بكام and then subtract, I decided to use 70% على طول. So I deducted from 100% 30%, and I said the 70% will be the amount that I'm going to pay right away, صح? So I need you to do the same possible thing here. يعني instead of calculating the 30% and then adding it, let's add the percentage right away. I'm sorry?
يعني تبقى 70%.
لا, because it was 70 when we deducted 30. But now we're going to add 30. So how much is going to be the percent? Yes, no, again, it was 70 ليه فوق? Because we had a sale of 30%. So we remove 30% out of the 100. But this is not a sale. This is an addition of 30%.
تبقى 130 يعني.
Exactly. So it becomes 130% times the 200. And that right away would get you the answer as 260.
ماشي. Okay, I get it.
Okay كده؟ طيب. Everyone, is this okay? Yes, please.
I don't understand this book.
طيب. So, but you understand the sale ولا لا?
Oh.
Okay. So it's okay to deduct 30%, صح? If we have a sale of 30%, it becomes 100 minus 30, which is 70, right?
Yes.
But if we add 30%, it becomes 100 instead of minus 30 plus 30, which is 130%, right?
Oh.
It's fine. And then I'll calculate that right away. 130% times the 200 على calculator would get me the answer after the addition of the 30% right away. ولا مش قوي still?
لا فهمت.
Okay. Everyone, is this okay? Nadine? Thank you. Nadine? نادين سامعاني ولا ايه؟ وزينة وكده all بجد good. Are you sure؟ أحمد؟ طيب. ماشي يا جماعة معلش, as this is an important concept, it will help you a lot. في ايه بقى؟ في questions like these. What if I told you that a price of مثلا a phone after taxes is $800 after taxes of 15%. What was the price before the tax? This is a tricky one, okay? So think about it كويس قوي, please. Again, there's a price of a phone. بعد ما already I added the 15%, the price is 800. I want to know what was the price, but before the 15%. So how am I going to do that? I'll say, what is the 800 supposed to represent? هي كام percent ال 800? ال 800 is not just the 100%, it's 115%. It's the price after I've already added the taxes. يعني ال 800 دي is not just the 100%, it's not the full price. It's the full price with an added 15%. So if I needed to know what was the price before the addition, that means that I need to know what was the 100% before the addition. And I'll do a cross multiply to get the exact amount of money that was there. So I should do 800 multiplied by 100 divided by 150. Yes, which is 695, true. So this is the amount of money remained, this was the price of the phone before we added the 15% sale. Does that make sense? لا. Yes, give me some sort of لا صح.
Yes.
Okay. So مش احنا هنا we said that the price of something when it increased by 30%, يعني لما زودت 30% taxes بقت 130%. So this $260 is considered right now, اللي هو الاماونت اللي انا وصلت له right now is considered 130%. دي القصه اللي حصلت هنا هو قال لي البرايس already after they added ال 15%. يعني ال 800 دي is not just the normal price، مش دي ال 100% of the price، لا دي ال 800 دي هي ال 100% of the price وزودوا عليها already 15%. فال 800 تعتبر 115%. These are the dollars و these are the percentages. Now أنا عايز أعرف ال original price قبل ال taxes which is considered to be 100%. So what was the original price? I'll just cross multiply. I'll do 800 multiplied by 100 and then divided by the third number. This is how the cross multiplication works. عامة دول الاثنين times بعض and then divided التالت. Please ask. This one is extremely important. Any problems here?
بس يعني احنا في لا مش equal، بس اللي هو ال 100% دي اللي هو ال 80 لا ال 800 كلها ولا
لا ال 800 دي بعد ما زودت التاكسز صح؟ انا عايز اعرف البرايس قبل التاكسز. هو قبل التاكسز يعني كان كام percent؟ كان 100% بس، لانه لما بزود تاكسز بزود على 100 بتبقى 115. فلما ارجع التاكسز هرجع تاني ل 100. زي بالظبط السؤال اللي هنا ال 200 دي كانت البرايس قبل التاكسز. So this is 100%. لو زودت تاكسز 30% هتبقى 260 which is 130%. So what was the original price اللي هو 100% بس 100% times 200 sorry يعني you got my point اللي هي بس قلل لي 30%. Does that make sense؟ Sure؟ طيب I'll stop explaining new things for now and I'd like you please just to go for class 7 P1. Okay, P1 has 5 questions. They're pretty easy, to the point. One probability question there. The rest are things that could be easily 1% question there that could be done on a calculator, and the rest could be done mentally. Please try your best and show me the best you can. And for this one, because it's actually easy and short, I'll give you 6 minutes. And please try to finish within time. P1 starts now. I assume this was a very easy one. Whenever we have something multiplied by a bracket, this needs to be distributed. So I'll have the negative 35a, and then negative 7 multiplied by negative b is positive 7b. Then the 3 as well will be multiplied, so that's negative 24b, and then 3 times this is positive 3a. Like terms together, that would get you this with that, which is a negative 32a. And then the 7b minus the 24b, that's a negative 17b. The answer is, this was easy, صح?
Yes.
Perfect. Any questions here? Yeah, صح? ماشي. Hopefully. For Bill's birthday party, sorry, his parents will spend $35 for the cake. So first of all, they start with 35 and then plus 15 per something. So whenever I see in any word problem whatsoever, 15 per whatsoever, that means that this 15 should be multiplied by the number of that thing. For example, if they said 15 per person, 15 should be multiplied by the number of people that should be there. Let's say people are represented by P. Now, anyway, they said they will spend at most a total of 300. So at most 300, that means that their payments must be less than or equal to the 300. At most the 300, بالكتير 300. Please understand that they said that the maximum number of people P, so they did represent the number of people with P. When you look at what you've written here before they even ask you the question, you'll find that you've already got the answer, which is the K. So again, this is a basic literal translation question somehow. There is a 35 that was paid at the very beginning, and then they said plus, and then they said 15 per something. So I just have to multiply the 15 by the number of that thing. And since I don't know the number of people, I'll give it a letter, and they said that it's the letter P, and also they said that it's at most 300, so I made it less than or equal to the 300, and that's how I got the answer. Are we clear on this one ولا لا? Are we all good?
Yeah. بس أنا اتلخبطت بس يا مستر في حاجة. عشان هو في الكويستشن كان بيقول إنه هما الكيك هتبقى ب 35.
Yes.
والإكسبنس برضه هتبقى 15 per person. فأنا كنت فاكرة إنه المفروض تبقى يعني هتبقى
35 per person.
أنا اتلخبطت بين دي وكي، بس في الآخر اخترتها كي، يعني هي صح، بس ما كنتش مقتنعة بيها قوي.
اوكي، طب دلوقتي 100% حاسة المفروض تتطبق ازاي؟ يعني فاهمة ليه طلعت كده صح؟
كده فهمت، بس أنا بس بقول لحضرتك ازاي.
ايوه المشكلة جت منين صح؟ which is okay so because it wasn't بالنسبة لك حاجة clear برضو هو فين الترانزليشن اللي في الموضوع، بس when you see it this way ان انا literally بترجم اللي هو قال عليه وبعمله زي ما هو sorry when you see the كلمة per when you understand that the 15 is done per whatsoever, so that per or for each person or with every person, things like that, then this means we're multiplying. So the 15 is the one that's multiplied, but the 35 is never multiplied by anything because it's paid once. Okay?
ما هو ده بقى اللي خلاني ما اختارش دي عشان قلت انه لا ما ينفعش.
صح. Perfect. طيب, number 3. This is actually an easy question. They're saying 312 is 34% of x. What is the value of x rounded to the nearest whole number? Now, I think the easiest way to solve this is to say, since the 312.8 is equivalent to 34% of something, then x itself must be the 100%. This was the original price. This was the original amount. X was the full amount. So if I need to find what is the value of x, I'll just cross multiply. I'll put 312.8 multiplied by 100 and then divide that by the 34. This is one way to do it. I think the answer is 920. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is one way. What's the other way? You can write it as an equation. You can say, since 312.8 is in math means equal 34% of x, which means 34% times x. Now we are if we need here to move the percentage sign, this is when you actually divide by 100. So it becomes 312.8 equals 0.34x, and then move this to the other side by division. So x will be equals to 312.8 divided 0.34. and it would get you to the same answer, 920. Does that make sense as well?
Yes.
I honestly want you to understand both ways, because both ways could work in various other occasions, not just this question. Any problems here? We're all good? MashaAllah. ماشي. طيب. Number 4. Actually, we solved number 4 during the last couple of days when we were explaining the geometry part and the idea of midpoint. So you shouldn't have had a problem here. But let's see برضو how this one works. They say, what is the distance in centimeters between T and the midpoint of RS? So if I'm thinking where's the midpoint of RS, it should be somewhere here in the middle, which means that this distance here is 4. Apparently they need the distance from T up until the midpoint. So they need this whole distance, which is the 18 plus the 4, a total of 22. And that's the answer. It's an extremely easy question, right?
Yes.
Easy. جواد وكريم وأمري Vera, Nadine, Sama, everyone, are you good يا جماعة ولا إيه? You have to give me some sort of a feedback here, okay?
Yes.
ماشي يا حبايبي.
Mr.
Yes, sorry يا شد.
I didn't know how to do it.
Okay. Still مش فاهماها صح؟ طيب, so what's the midpoint of RS؟ يعني إيه midpoint؟ اللي في النص. So if it's somewhere في النص بالظبط and this whole thing كده من أول هنا لحد هنا ب 8. So نصها هيبقى قد إيه؟
4.
Okay, so this is now 4. هو عايز ال distance بقى between point T, which is this one here, لحد ال midpoint of RS. يعني من أول هنا لحد في النص بالظبط between R and S, صح؟ You see أنا دلوقتي كده I highlighted قد إيه؟ the entire region. الحتة دي بس لحد هنا ب 18 والحتة اللي باقية الصغيرة هنا ب 4. So the whole thing is 18 and the 4 all together, صح؟ So it's a total of how much? 18 plus 4, 22. فاهمها؟ Sure, huh?
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to number 5. It says a certain committee is composed of 9 juniors and 11 seniors. أنا, when I read such questions, and أيا كان, and I can easily tell that this is a word problem and it's a big one, I'll try to organize everything before I even start. يعني هكتب على طول. Apparently there are juniors and there are seniors, so هكتب كده 2 letters وهقسمهم. 9 juniors, so here's 9. 11 seniors, here they are. 2 different members of the committee will be randomly selected for 2 different leadership roles. Here's the important part. Given that the first member who will be selected is a senior, so the first member is already a senior, what is the probability that the second is a junior? So this is exactly very similar to the example we've been explaining. I've already selected one person as a senior. So if I need now to select the second time, the seniors have reduced by 1. The seniors are now actually 10, no longer 11. So the actual probability of getting a junior, the probability would be wanted over the total, and the wanted in this case is just the junior, which are the 9, over the total, which is now 19, not 20. So the answer is A. Any issues here? We're all good?
Yes.
I want to just tell you the names of a few important things, okay? They're like just names, okay? And they're related to statistics mainly. In statistics, there are certain things we do. We could do something called a survey. A survey is whenever you ask people a question and you gather the answers, that's called a survey. Any question whatsoever. Usually, we like the surveys to be taken from a random sample. يعني if I'm going to ask مثلا people in school whether they like something or not, I should take people from all around school, whether seniors or high schoolers or middle schoolers or elementary, any age whatsoever. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm very sorry يا جماعة والله. The sickness is killing me. Anyway, I'm saying if I'm asking the people in school, I'd like to ask a random sample. So I'd take people from all over. But it's extremely stupid to ask people in high school whether they'd like to مثلا only people in high school whether they like something or not. That would not be a random sample. That's an important thing. Another thing is something called an experiment. Now, an experiment is whenever you try actual things on people and you check what are the results, or on something and you check what are the results. So you actually do something. If I do an experiment on people, that means that I actually put them somewhere and check what happens to them or what they do. It's not just like I ask them question and gather the information. That's what an experiment done. There's also what an experiment means. There's also something called a census. A census is very similar to the idea of a survey, but it's done on a much bigger scale. Like done on a population. Most probably it's done on a population. بنتكلم على populations of people and so on. Usually there's nothing that we do that is considered a census at all, that we as students do that would be considered a census at all. Now, the reason why I'm telling you those things, because there are questions where they tell you a story and they tell you things like, we went and we asked, this is an official question that came قبل كده. They said they wanted to, the city wanted to build a they wanted to build, yes, a dog park. And they wanted to take the city members' opinion whether to do an actual dog park or just a garden or something. So what they did is they went in and they asked all the dog owners whether they would prefer to have this thing as a dog park or just a normal garden. And then they asked you, what is the problem with the statistic? Like, what actually went wrong here? So, of course, in this case, what went wrong is that the sample was not a random sample. They just went and picked the people who already have dogs. They'll definitely, it's called the biased sample. They will definitely go towards one option more than the other. Well, this was an actual question in the test. Also, there was another question where they told you something like, we went and asked people whether they like to eat this or that, and they said whatsoever. What is this called? Is it an experiment? Is it a survey? Is it a census? And so on. So that's why I'm telling you those stupid things. Now, if you don't mind, please head to Google Classroom and try to go for P2. P2 has, again, 5 questions. They're honestly pretty simple, with just one of them that could be a tiny bit confusing, but let's see what you guys are capable of doing so far. For all of them, we'll still have 6 minutes, and hopefully we'll get it done within that time. 6 minutes started now. حاجة easy, just like for example question number 6. Number 7 was a bit tricky. يعني شوية. Number 8 is extremely easy. It's just an equation. 9, there's nothing to solve. We're just going to pick our answer. 10 will require شوية تفكير, but it's extremely easy as well. So let's go through them one by one. Let's go through number 6. What's the least common multiple of 60, 70, and 90? So a multiple means that, for example, multiples of 3 are the numbers that could come out by multiplying 3 by numbers. يعني 3 and then 3 times 6, 9, 12. All of those numbers are multiples of 3, which means I can divide them all by 3. So if I say is 21 is a multiple of 3, that means that I can divide 21 by 3, and it would give me a normal number. It wouldn't give me a decimal. It would give me an integer. So if I need to know what's the least common multiple of 60, 70, and 90, I can just divide the 60. I can divide each of the answers by 60 and 70 and 90 and check which answer would not have any decimals. And I will also pick the smallest one of those. Does that kind of make sense? ولا لا?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so 220 divided by 60, and that will come out as 3.6. So there is no need to even try the 70 or the 90. خلاص, this would not work. Now let's try 630. 630 divided by 60. It would come out as 10.5. Then it wouldn't work. 1,260 divided by 60 came out as 21. Now I'll divide by 70 as well, and it came out as 18. Now I'll divide by 90, and it did come out as 14. So that's divisible by all 3, so that's definitely the answer. Does that make sense? We're all good? Okay, ask a question. I know that this seems hard, but I want you to ask a question. It will get you there. يعني, what is it that we do? Should I do this? What do you understand? Anything like that. في أي حاجة؟
مفيش.
طب يعني إيه multiple؟ فاهمة إيه multiple؟ يعني إيه؟
حاجات يعني ممكن تمشي على كذا حاجة.
one way، بس لا multiple إنه نقصد مثلا multiples of 5 يعني أضعاف ال 5 اللي هم 5 10 15 20 الحاجات اللي ال 5 عملتهم، فاهمة؟
اوكي.
فمثلا لما انا اجي اسالك what is a multiple of 60، يعني 60 تكون عملت الرقم ده. يعني in other words عشان اعرف رقم multiple ل 60 ولا لا، بعمل الرقم نفسه divided 60، ولو الانسر طلعت integer يبقى الرقم ده multiple. لو الانسر طلعت فيها حاجه point تبقى الرقم ده not a multiple of 60. فاهمه الفكره؟ شور؟ مثلا 120 divided by 60 هيطلع لي الانسر ب 2. So it is a multiple. 120 is a multiple of 60. بس 200 divided by 60 يطلع لي ب 3 point something. So 3 point يبقى ال 200 is not a multiple of 60. Okay? طيب. Now I want to check مين من الانسرز دول يكون multiple للثلاث ارقام، لل 60 وال 70 وال 90. فكل اللي هعمله ان هعمل كل رقم divided 60 و 70 و 90 واشوف مين الرقم اللي هيطلع لي في الثلاثه انتجر مش ديسيمال. يعني لازم لما اعمل ديفايد باي 60 يطلع لي انتجر، ولما اعمل ديفايد باي 70 يطلع لي انتجر، ولما اعمل ديفايد باي 90 يطلع لي انتجر. فاهمه؟
اوكي فهمت.
بس طيب let's see this one. It says here the Newton High School girls football team currently has a record of 8 wins, 55 losses, and 0 ties. What is the least number of its remaining 10 games that the team must win in order to finish the season winning more than 50% of all the team's games? Can someone please tell me what they understood and try to please to help me with this one? حد من الناس اللي usually they don't really. Sama, would you please go ahead يلا؟
أقول اللي أنا عملته.
قولي ايه اللي جه في دماغك، فهمتي ايه؟ اي حاجة.
هو أنا عملت 8 plus 5
Okay.
13
Okay, why?
عشان أعرف how many games they've played already.
Oh, perfect. So the 13 is the total number of games they've played already. Okay.
بس هو 13 مش 4.
I'm sorry, I said 11. صح. Sorry, yeah.
وبعديها plus 10 عشان أعرف إيه ال 50%.
Plus 10.
Oh.
Okay, يعني okay. So if there are a total of 13 games and they will play 10 more games, so it will be a total of 23 games. صح?
وبعديها تبقى divided by 2 فتبقى 11.5.
Okay, so you split those divided by 2. So to know 50% of them بكام؟ 50% طلعوا 11.5. طب وبعدين؟
لأن هما كسبوا already 8 عشان يجيبوا 11 هتبقى 3 بس لازم more than 50% هتبقى 4.
I love it. So هم فعلا هم كسبوا من ال 11 matches they've already won 8. So باقي قد ايه عشان يوصلوا هنا؟ المفروض باقي 3.5 games تانيين يكسبوهم. It's impossible طبعا يكسب 3.5 فلازم يكسب على الأقل 4. لازم يكسب أكتر. So يجي له more than 50% of the games are winning. I love it, Yasama. Thank you so much. This was awesome. Everyone else, any thoughts here or any other ways or anything you want to ask about?
Yes.
Please.
Well, why did we divide by 2?
Because they said that they need the season or they need to finish the season winning more than 50% of all the team's games. So I wanted to know what's 50% of the games أصلا. How can I know that?
يعني 23 ده 100% فاحنا عايزين الهاف بتاعها.
بالظبط كده. That's why the 23 is the new total number of games. صح؟ فأنا عايز نصهم قد إيه عشان يبقوا 50%. نصهم is 11.5. Apparently they need to be at least 12 مثلا، مش هينفع 11.5 صح؟ فبس من 8 لحد 12 في قد إيه فرق؟ في 4. They've already won 8. So محتاجين يكسبوا 4 كمان عشان يبقوا total كسبانين 50% of the games they played. Sorry. فاهمة ولا مش قوي؟
لا مش فاهمة آخر حتة.
طيب so فاهمة إن أنا عرفت 50% دي قد إيه من الجيم صح؟
هي 11.5.
أوكي وبعدين إحنا قلنا يعني ما ينفعش يكون 11.5 جيمز فإحنا نخليهم 12 جيمز صح؟
أيوه.
أوكي so هو بيسأل على إيه بقى؟ هو عايز إيه؟
The least number remaining of 10 games.
Yes يعني عايز يعرف what is the least number of its remaining 10 games to win. عايز يعرف يكسب قد إيه من ال10 اللي لسه هيلعبهم صح؟ طيب هو already كسب منهم قد إيه؟ أو كسب already من الأول 8 و he needs a total of كام win عشان يبقى 50%.
12.
أيوه مش فاهمة ال 12 صح؟
لا.
طيب you have to understand الأول الكيس إيه أوكي؟ أنا دلوقتي already لعبت ماتشز معينة so I played a total of 8 wins و 5 losses و 0 ties يعني كام ماتش overall أو كام game overall a total of 13 game صح؟
13.
Okay. Now apparently what he's asking what is the least number of its remaining 10 games? So apparently I'll still play another 10, correct?
Yes, I'll add 15 on a 10.
Exactly. So that will give me 23 new games. Now أنا عايز إيه؟ عايز هي محتاجة تكسب كام new match so that her total wins throughout the 23 matches would be 50%. Or would be actually more than 50%.
Okay.
So الأول I'll try to figure out what's 50% of the wins. Sorry, what's 50% of the matches? If she played games, she played a total of 23 games. 50% of those means 12 games, 12 wins, correct? She needs to win 12 wins. But she has already played 8 wins at the very beginning. She already got her wins there. 8 out of how many remaining? 8 out of 12. So how many more games for her to win so that her total winnings are half the total games? Just 4.
أيوة فهمت. Okay.
Sure, صح?
Oh.
طيب. Everyone answer we good? You're most welcome. Carla, go ahead.
بس لو حضرتك حلتها بطريقة تانية غير الواحدة اللي كان فيها over 2
لا هي بس يعني انا بس قلت ال 50% ب 12 على طول. هي هنا اللي حصل ان احنا عملنا ال 23 divide by 2 so it came out as 11.5 فانا بقول لك بقى بدل 11.5 هنخليهم 12 لان ما ينفعش يكسب 0.5 جيم صح؟
أيوة
ف 12 جيمز على طول ننجزها.
لا أنا بس كان question اللي هو ال 2 دي كانت إيه بس دلوقتي فهمتها 50%.
اللي هي نصهم بس ده اللي نقصده فاهم؟
أنا
بالظبط بالظبط.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Now for this one. I need to find the value of x. L2 will be distributed. I'll have 2x minus 24 plus x equals to 24. Now you just need to add like terms together, which means that I'll put the 2x plus the x, which is 3x. I'll move the negative 24 to the other side. So 24 plus 24. And that would get you that 3x's are equal 48. So x is equals to 16, which is 48 divided by 3. Any worries here? Any problems here?
No.
Awesome. Moving to number 9. They say the principal of Law High School authorized yes a study to estimate the percent of the LHS students population that will attend a 4-year college after graduation. LHS students in honors courses were asked about their post-graduation plans and the responses were recorded. Students in other courses were not included in the study. Which of the following phrases best describes the principal's study? Is it a randomized census? Is it a randomized experiment? Is it a non-randomized experiment? Randomized sample survey? Non-randomized sample survey? So here's the thing. I wanted to know about the percentage of the students in my entire school who would go for a 4-year college university. So why would I go and only ask the honors courses? It's stupid. I went and asked specifically only the honors courses. So the others will not go to university. So first of all, this is not a non-random thing. This is not a random thing. It's a non-random. It's not random at all. You selected only the honors. So that means that any of the choices that has the word random in it does not work. Now ask yourself, you think this is an experiment or this is a sample survey? It's definitely a sample survey because I asked and they gave me the responses and I collected them. So that's a survey. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome.
مستر هو كان ايه السنسس دي؟
It's زي السيرفي بس on a much bigger scale وموست probably دايما بتكون على population كبيرة. طيب number 10 finally. Number 10 هو he gave me this shape. المفروض ال original shape by the way هو A و B و C من غير ال dash. So the original shape is actually this one. Now we don't really need to look at the whole shape because things will become a bit confusing. Instead, I'd like you to look at the letters, at only the points. Apparently this B was here, but suddenly B dash is exactly on the other side right here. While C as well was here, it was reflected on exactly on the other side to here. And A was here and it suddenly moved to exactly to the other side there. So what happened here is literally a reflection. Everything that was on one side of the y-axis suddenly moved to the other side. The B was on that side, it moved to this side. The C was this side, it moved to the other side. The same distance. So apparently this one is just a reflection across the y-axis. Is that it? Is that okay?
Yes. I have a question.
Of course.
هي لو كانت horizontal translation كانت هتبقى ازاي؟
It would just be moved to the right. So a translation is
Oh,
movement. Horizontal, it's right or left, actually. So a horizontal translation is whenever there's a shape was here and then it moved to the other side, but exactly the same shape.
yes.
Yalla, let's go for P3. So P3 has a bit of a geometry in it, which is parts that we have covered already. It has something related to the powers and so on. And it has here a question that has to do with something called an ellipse, but they gave you the rule of the ellipse here. So you should be able to solve it. There's this question that's basically an equation that could be solved literally in one step. So these 5 questions are actually bardo very easy. Let's work with these 3 in 6 minutes still. Started now. So let's start with the first one, and remember this is a geometry question. It says here, Banu will build a fence around a rectangular 30-foot by 20-foot play area. So it's a rectangular field that looks like this, and you're given the length of the dimensions, sorry, of it. So you're given that this is 30 by 25. Given that the fencing costs 4.05 per foot, how much will the fencing cost for Banu to completely surround the play area? So if I need to create a fence, this means that I'll have to go around the full place. That is exactly the definition of the perimeter. The perimeter is mainly the sum of all of those sides. So if I need to build a fence, I just have to add all of those together. And that would get me 110, which is 25 plus 25 plus 30 plus 30. So this is 110 feet. Each foot costs 4.05. So the 110 should be just multiplied by 4.05. Does that make sense, everyone?
مستر
Yes.
انا عملت نفس الغباء بتاع المرة اللي
عملتي ايه؟ ما عملتيهمش كلهم الاربعه بلس بعض صح؟
بالظبط.
لا please برضه remember fence يعني كل الشيء everything everywhere around it. وعشان كده هو حتى قال لي هنا completely surround the play area. فاهمة؟
ماشي.
عادي. This one, it says the diagonal of a rectangular flat television screen is 26 inches. So what is the diagonal? The diagonal is the line that connects between the vertices from the inside. So this one, that's the diagonal. This is the one that's 26 inches. The width of the screen is 22.5. So this here, the shorter one, is 22.7, sorry. And the height, actually the other one, whatever you prefer, 22.7. And the height of the screen is 10 inches less than the width of the screen. So then 10 inches less than the width, and this means it's actually 10 less than 22.7, then this means it's 12.7. Which of the following is closest to the area of the television? So the area of the television is just mainly based on that, it's a rectangle. So 22.7 multiplied by 12.7. It's just length times width. And it is 288.29. And because they said which is closest to the area, then to 288 is the correct one. Does that make sense, everyone? لا
Yes.
Perfect. Now we'll move to this one. Generally speaking, whenever we have two things that are divided by each other and both have the same bases, we actually subtract the powers. So this will become a, but to the power of 8 minus 4, which then will make it a to the power of 4. That's it. That's your answer. Generally, if we have the two things with the same base but they're multiplied, we're supposed to add the powers. And if we have something with the base with a power and then another power over it, we're supposed to multiply the powers. Yes, Carla, please ask it.
مستر هو انا عملتها بطريقة تانية بس هي كانت غلط بس انا عملتها equal to 4.
Over 4 100% غلط. ليه بقى؟
ليه؟
لأن اوكي عشان هو الرول ليه اصلا ماينس والرول ليه اصلا بلس وليه الحاجات اللي انا بشرحها على الجنب دي. انت مثلا لو عندك 2 to the power of 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of 2. هي 2 power 3 مش معناها 2 times 2 times 2 3 مرات. و 2 power 2 معناها 2 times 2 مرتين. والاثنين دول معمولين times بعض. يعني في كام 2 دلوقتي معمولة times بعضها؟ 5. So it became 2 to the power of 5. And that's how we came up بفكرة الرول. إن ما دام عندي حاجتين بنفس البيس اتعملوا times بعض كأني بالظبط عملت الباورز تايم بلس بعض. فعشان كده بتطلع لي the same as 2 to the power of 5. فاهمة حاجة؟ طيب مثلا x to the power of 3 divided x to the power of 2. x power 3 تعتبر x times x times x, while x to the power of 2 is x times x. When we're dividing, don't we cross this with this and this with that? So the remaining is just x power 1. So it's as if we subtracted 3 minus 2. And that's how, again, we got the rule. So a to the power of 8 divided a to the power of 4 is like A times A times A times A times A times A times A over A times A times A 4 times. These 4 will cross out of those 4, so the remaining is just 4. Instead of doing this, we'll just subtract right away. And that's why the rule is important. Fahma?
Oh.
Most welcome. Now let's work on 14. 14 is a shape called an ellipse. An ellipse is very similar to the circle بس stretched شوية مشدود كده شوية. So this is an ellipse. They told me something here that the area of any ellipse can be found by this formula. A equals to pi multiplied by A and then B. And then they explained that A is half the length of the major axis. Major يعني أكبر وminor يعني أصغر. So A half the major while B is half the minor. So what is the major axis here? This is the major axis, which is apparently 6. And A is which one? The minor axis, which is this one, which is apparently 4. So all what we need to do is just to put half times 6 or half times 4 on a calculator and multiply those by each other. It will get me 6 pi. So the answer is just J. No. I'm sorry. Wait. J is just the area of the ellipse, the white part. They actually asked for the area of the shaded region, which is these parts. And we explained قبل كده, and whenever we want the area of a shaded region, this means we get the area of the bigger shape minus the smaller shape. If I want the shaded region, I'll get the area of the whole rectangle وهشيل منها الحتة البيضاء اللي في النص. I'll remove from it the ellipse inside. So it actually should be first the area of the rectangle, which is 6 times 4, then minus the area of the ellipse, which is 6 pi. So 6 times 4 will become 24 minus 6 pi. So the actual answer is not J, instead it is H. Does that make sense?
Yes. بس أنا على فكرة غلطت نفس الغلطة اللي حضرتك غلطتها فوق. هي.
عشان جوجات الاريا لقيت الانسر، انا عملت نفس الحاجه.
بالظبط.
انا كان لا انا بصراحه what made me do this is my focus قوي كان على حته الاريا بتاعت الellipse. I wanted to explain the area of the ellipse. So I completely forgot that there was something else in the question above. I didn't even read الحته دي, to be honest. But when I looked at the choices, I realized that since there's something with minus, and I just suddenly remembered حاجه minus حاجه, there has to be shaded somewhere. So I went back. فاهمه؟ Yes يا حبيبي.
I don't understand.
Right. Here's something. Let's say you have something like this. And then there's a circle inside. And let's say these are the shaded regions. Here, anything that's outside of the circle but inside of the square. Is that okay?
Yes.
So what if I needed to find the area of this shaded region? What should I do? Like the concept, what should I do? I should get the area of the whole square or the rectangle, and then the white part in the middle, remove it from that area. That would get me all the remaining shaded parts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if let's say this is 5 and this is 10, no, it can't be 5 and 10. It has to be 10 and 10, for example. So if it's this way, then the area of the square would be 10 times 10. This is the area of the whole square, the bigger shape. Then minus the area of the circle inside. Now, what's the area of a circle? It's supposed to be pi r squared, and the r is mainly the radius. So the radius here is 5. Never mind the details of that part now, but the concept of subtracting the bigger area minus the smaller area is the whole thing. Does that make sense, Shoya? So the same thing is done here now. I have a shaded region, which is this region shaded, the gray one. And then I just need to find the area of this shaded region. So what I'm about to do is to find the area of the whole rectangle first, which is just 6 times 4. This length times this width. That would get me the 24. That's the area of the whole rectangle, including the white part inside. And then remove from it the area of the white part inside. Now, what's the area of the white part? It's an area of an ellipse where they explain that this is its rule. The rule is mainly pi times a times b, where a is half the axis and b is half the other axis. And by axis, I mean those two, this length and that length. So I did it as half 6 and half 4. Pi times half 6 times half 4 got me the 6 pi, which is the area of the ellipse. So I removed from the rectangle the ellipse inside, and that's how I got the shaded. فاهمها؟
اه فهمت. اوكي. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Finally, 15. You have 2x minus root 3 equals to 6. What's the value of x? It's just an equation. So I'll move definitely the negative root to the other side. So 2x will be equals to 6 plus root 3. And then I'll remove the 2 by dividing to the other side. So 6 plus root 3 over 2, which will definitely become 6 divided by 2 and root 3 divided by 2. So the answer is C. That's an easy question, right? Okay. We are meeting again, inshallah, next Saturday at 12. I'll keep you updated. It may become to 12:15. It depends on what happens before that, and I'll keep you updated through the WhatsApp group on time. As for right now, please just fill in the exit ticket to make sure that you all are good. And if you need